Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I love it. My name's Jay Milne. #Blue. Our sports update deliverer, the Koob.
I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up today.
You know what, Reid? You might be honest. All right, here's what's going on in the Nasty Cup.
Years go by, and I'm fine on the outside, but on the inside.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. Minor technical glitch. We're back and rolling. Thanks for joining us on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. Jason Milne will return tomorrow. Zachary Kubusch as your technical producer and sports update deliverer. In about 15 or 20 minutes, Daryl Reaugh from the Dallas Stars broadcast booth is going to join us. Please, later on in the show, we're going to catch up with Manny Viveiros, former Oilers assistant coach, Edmonton native, who is now coaching the Vancouver Giants as the Western Hockey League playoffs are set to start on Friday. Okay, Draisaitl, McDavid not in the lineup tonight.
Leon will be back sooner than Connor, but we're looking at about a week, maybe shorter for Leon, and Connor will be longer than that.
All right, so that was what Kris Knoblauch had to say earlier today. So you can always email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And I got an email earlier this week. I'm not going to read the whole email because it was a longer email, and it was sort of I guess it was a complaint about the show, though it wasn't mean-spirited or angry, it was longer, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll sum it up. And it was from a very passionate hockey fan. I assume they cheer from the Oilers if they were engaging with this show, and it was written to me, and this person was saying that I specifically, though I think he was saying the station in general, or maybe sports media in general, but he directed it at me, basically saying that there's something that I don't talk about enough. So I want to address this because I assume this person probably tunes in fairly regularly, and perhaps it's something other people listening have said, how come this isn't talked about? Or maybe you're glad that it's not talked about. And this is going to be fired up for Gemco. Gemco Fireplaces, proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years, the authorized dealer for Napoleon fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. So, you know, a concerned listener wrote in and basically said, Reid, I hear you talking about games and giving stats and making predictions. And this listener said, when you make a prediction, I often hear you saying, well, you know, I think this, and it's sort of based on my gut or these trends that I feel are happening. And he basically said that I'm missing the point. And the thing that he said I don't talk about enough, whether I'm making predictions or analyzing games, he said, why? He said, you need to talk about analytics more often. And he said analytics basically have, he didn't use this exact word, but sort of solved hockey. I assume by now most of you have a general idea of what analytics are. Fancy stats. I mean, it's going deeper than goals, assists, shots on goal, plus minus. A lot of it is related to puck possession. There's the very simple one like Corsi, which is what percentage of the total shot attempts in a game does a team take. There's ways to track entry passes, breakout passes, all these types of things. So I thought, oh, okay, this person took the time to write. Again, it was quite a lengthy email. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. But I thought this is worth addressing. So here's the thing when it comes to analytics. And you know, when I first started sort of being involved in daily Oilers stuff, which would have been, I don't know, what, 14 years ago now, you know, working with Stoff, there was a pretty strong analytics community. You know, blogging was getting bigger and bigger. The internet was continuing to rise and become the monster that it is now. And I realized that it's something that people talk about and something that is important to know the basics of. I also know from delivering a spoken word show now for a significant chunk of my career that there is a point that numbers make people tune out. And I don't mean necessarily change the station, but it just becomes sort of a wall of numbers. And after a while, what as a listener, I think you might say, what is Reid really saying to me? What, 52%? Did he say 52% or did he say 53? Did I catch that? Is that really a big difference? What is that in relation to? Now, I do give stats. I'm not going to claim I don't give stats, and I do give analytical or fancy stats at times. I just think that there's a limit to it, first of all, in terms of what you, the audience, can comprehend. And I don't mean comprehend because you're dumb. It just means you're driving around. Maybe you're at work. Maybe you're, and if you just hear all these numbers, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Just tell me a little bit more about the game, and don't throw all these stats at me. So that's reason number one why I don't use it a lot. Number two is I think that if you want to use analytics, you have to use them in what's the word? I was going to say an intelligent way, but that's not fair. That's not accurate. You have to apply them in a way that makes them relevant. And I think and I remember this from when I first again was on Bob's show and then started doing Inside Sports. There were some bloggers and people in the analytics community who probably were intelligent and knew what they were doing and knew what they were talking about. But first of all, were extremely aggressive. And again, we're basically saying, hey, you idiots in the media, we've figured out hockey and you refuse to talk about it. Okay? But here's the thing, and here's where you have to be careful with it. So I'll say who was he? He was here last week. It was Sid Smith. It was Sid Smith, whose son played NCAA hockey and played junior A hockey, I think in Saskatchewan. I can't remember which team he was on, but at one point, Sid's son had a pretty analytics-driven coach, and he told the forwards, he said, in every game, the goal is for each forward to have a combined 7 shots on goal and hits. Okay? So by the end of the night, look in the stat shots, you got 4 shots on goal, 3 hits, you've done your job. You got 2 shots on goal, 5 hits, you've done your job. Now, shots on goal and hits are important, but the coach was just saying, just go out there and get these things. So what happened was that the forwards were going out, getting across the blue line and taking slap shots or wristing soft pucks on net, and there's your shot on goal. Or dumping it into the corner and taking an irresponsible run at a guy to try to get a hit, but you're out of position, but you get credited for a hit. So I think and somebody said this to me once, that some of the analytics, whether you want to use Corsi or what, there's probably a whole bunch I don't even know about. I'm not pretending to be an expert on it. I'm explaining, why I don't talk about it a lot and why we have to be considerate when we're talking about them. We can't just say, well, this is figured out, yada, 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 everything's great. That a team with good analytics is the result of good hockey. It's not the cause of good hockey. So you can tell a team, let's go out there and win the Corsi battle. Well, great. You can get across the red line and take a long slap shot on net, and it's never going to go in, but you might out-Corsi a team. But teams with good Corsis or good analytics are generally doing a lot of other things well that leads to them winning. So we will... Koob, can you call our next guest and just sort everything out with him? Because he's having some issues, okay? And he's texting me and I can't reply. So that's why I don't want to sit here and say, well, here's this analytic, here's this, because the numbers are just to a listener who's perhaps, doing other things while listening to the show, is probably not interesting after a while. And some of you might argue, well, Reid, nothing you talk about is interesting. Okay, we'll see. But then there's the other side of that where it's like, okay, but just throwing out this number, and this number, and that's why they're good, that actually doesn't tell the story. I mean, the story might be, why does this team win? Why do they outshoot other teams? Okay, well, let's look at the Oilers, because when they're healthy, they have Draisaitl and McDavid getting them a zone entry. They have Hyman forechecking down low. They have Nugent Hopkins getting to loose pucks. They have Corey Perry being a pest and getting pucks free. So that's why they have puck possession, and then they do the things that gets them shots on goal or gets them shot attempts, which gives them Corsi, which gives them a positive Corsi or shot share, whatever you want to call it. So that's really the breakdown of the game. The breakdown of the game doesn't end with, well, 58% Corsi, that's why they won. No, why did they have that number? Why did they control puck possession? What were the quality of the shots? All that kind of stuff. So hopefully this person who wrote me this email is listening and is understanding what I'm saying. And maybe they agree with me, but I just don't think coming on here and giving this number, this percentage, that doesn't tell the story of the game. And really, to me, that's very limited in terms of how much discussion you can have about the game. I hope that makes sense to people. If it doesn't, you can tell me. I'm open to feedback. I'm open to criticism or whatever. But, this person wrote me in and said, why do you not talk about this? You are missing the point. You are not delivering the show that you should deliver. Well, that's my response to that. That I think, well, I believe it. I don't know if you believe it, but I believe that we are delivering something that's still very relevant and very informative without going into stat, number. Fair enough? All right. Mystery Athlete of the Game is presented, as always, by Hudson's Canada's Pub. You're trying to win a $25 gift card to Hudson's Canada's Pub. You're invited down tonight for the Oilers game. Join us Fridays and Saturdays from 9 p.m. for our late night happy hour specials. And you can also join them Fridays and Saturdays after 9 p.m. That is the late night happy hour specials. Food starting at $4, drinks from $3.75. Book your reservations now at hudsonscanadaspub.com. The first clue is stingers. You must text your guesses to 780-218-9999. That is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. All right, we'll get a perspective from the Stars with a guy who's always fun to talk to, Daryl Reaugh, coming up next on The Reid Wilkins Show.
Oilers head coach Kris Knoblauch says that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl will be out for some more time. Leon Draisaitl will be back sooner than Captain Connor McDavid. Join Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they preview tonight's game, Oilers vs. Stars, at 7 right here on EST during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Just 3 other games on tap. The Blackhawks challenge the Devils, the Bruins and Ducks face off, while the Canucks call on Thatcher Demko to backstop Vancouver against the Islanders. And the Scepters and Fleet go at it while the Victoire and Frost drop the puck on a 2-game PWHL schedule. In the AJHL, there's 4 games. The Wolverines match up with the Oil Barons. The Eagles and Dragons butt heads, while Calgary and Camrose duke it out. NBA action sees Toronto playing Brooklyn, the Clippers and Knicks hitting the court, while Philly battles Washington. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds, and Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you'll need. Get top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or call them at 780-467-5014. Daryl Reaugh, Stars analyst, joins us on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
Some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus, shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
It's time for a wing throwdown at the Canadian Brewhouse. Fuego Verde versus Honey Blaze. Who's got the best flavor? Come taste the heat and get your wing fix anytime. Plus 69-cent wings all day Wednesdays. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
Join our very own Dustin Nielsen, Trey and Terrell Ford of the Edmonton Elks, and other special guests on Tuesday, April 8th at the Bell in Scona for Edmonton Sports Talk's Bids for Kids, presented by GS Construction. A special live on-location show featuring a delicious appetizer buffet, silent auction, 50-50, and more. This year, Kids Sport is proudly celebrating 30 years of making a positive impact in our community. Don't miss out and join this special celebration to help continue to support those in need. Tickets are limited. Find them today at kidsportbidsforkids.com. That's kidsportbidsforkids.com.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
Someday you'll be shedding your tears.
A one-of-a-kind retrospective. It's Glass Tiger, This Island Earth, April 4th at River Cree Resort and Casino.
Don't forget me when I'm gone.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
All right, good to have you tuning in this afternoon. 421 Oilers and Stars at 8 o'clock tonight at Rogers Place. The Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas will start at 7 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Again, our Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game. The first clue is Stingers. The first clue is Stingers. I'm keeping an eye on the inbox for River Cree Resort and Casino, 780-218-9999. No winner. No winner right out of the gate. This is a fun one. See, but I gotta stop myself. I don't want to give additional clues on top of the first clue. I can tell. Okay, here's another clue. I can tell you who it isn't, though this guy would be a fine addition to our Mystery Athlete of the Day category. It's not Daryl Reaugh from the Dallas Stars broadcast booth who joins me now. Daryl, thanks for hopping on. I since we last talked, I got a new show which now has a video element. I hope you didn't have to pay the $50 to get on the video stream or whatever it was.
It was $5.99. And I was like, no. I love you. I love you, Reid. Great respect for you, but I'm not paying $6 to come on with you.
Okay, well, you got on, and we can use phone, but because we have YouTube on top of the audio streams, thanks for doing this. How's life, buddy? I was telling somebody early this morning, the last time, because on Ched, you used to hop on with me once or twice a year, and it was funny because we did the playoff game. And because of your schedule, you went into my broadcast booth where I wasn't because I was doing the show in Studio 99, which is a sports bar. So we didn't get to do it in person. So we're actually seeing each other now in different buildings, and we couldn't in the same building. How are things for you, buddy? Like, what did you have? I haven't talked to you. What was the summer highlight for you? Do you relax? Do you go to a beach? Do you go to an ocean? What do you do?
Yeah, well, I went fishing with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is Brendan Morrison, the former Canuck. And he's got a fishing show. I'm sure a lot of your listeners and viewers have probably consumed it, fishing and hunting. And I'd say every couple of years, we go on a trip together. So we went on and slayed salmon and tuna. First time I'd ever done West Coast tuna fishing, which is a haul. Like, you're 5 hours out and then hunting around in the middle of the Pacific trying to find a school of tuna. But it was worth it. It was worth it. It's hardcore though. Like he I've told him many times, Reid, that thank God his addiction is fishing, because if it was something more nefarious, he'd be dead.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're a pretty good brother-in-law that you've dove right into that, so to speak.
No, he's the better brother-in-law.
Right.
He's the better brother-in-law.
All right. You guys are here for twice in a month. That last game. So here's the thing. That was the first home game I didn't attend since I was really sick about 10 years ago, because I went to a wedding in Jasper. So you're kind of checking, Oilers looking good. I get back to my hotel, and Dallas dominates the third period and makes a difference. But that was a rare, even though they made it clear, was that a rare sort of off night for the Dallas Stars, given how they've been playing recently?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, they have not strung together, many, like, it's the weirdest thing, Reid. Like they're really good at winning, but when you watch it every night, there's a different level that they can get to, and they've been getting away with the way that they've played because their power play's been excellent, and they've been almost unbeatable on home ice. And I think it's perturbed the coaching staff, Pete DeBoer, a little bit, that they haven't played consistently as well as they were like prior to the trade deadline. And you probably have to go back a little bit even from the week leading up to it. But look, they're in a spot here now where they understand who they're going to play. Likely it's going to be Colorado and them. So it's kind of a weird spot with, 12, 15 games to go to, be taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. And it's maybe right. It doesn't drive them as much, but the game itself here, Jake Ottinger, it was fantastic. His best game in a while against Minnesota, his last start. He's going to start again tonight here. He wasn't great. He wasn't the only one. It was the first game with Mikko Rantanen in the lineup. There was a lot of stuff going on, and they got behind, and they made a game of it as it moved along. The Oilers conveniently played some curious defense and some goals against at their end, and it turned into the game it was.
I'm going to steal that. They played some curious defense. I'm going to use that whenever the Oilers or another team perhaps is a little lackadaisical in their own end. You mentioned the trade deadline, and obviously you mentioned Rantanen. So that was the big attraction. What did you think of that deal? Sort of what they gave up, and then I'll just ask the subsequent question right now. How's he been as a Dallas Star?
Well, as a former Kamloops Blazer, it was tough to see a Kamloops Blazer leave. But at the same time, when you look at where this group is in their chase to win a cup, it just felt like the perfect time to make one of these deals where you're mortgaging a little bit of the future in order to grab a guy. And it's not like they grabbed a rental or a short-term guy. Like, he's going to be a Dallas Star for a decade, basically, going forward. So they got bigger. They obviously got better at this time in their careers, Stankoven and Rantanen, not that it was 1-for-1. And, I think the team itself, Reid, signaled to their general manager, to Jim Nill, like, we're ready to go here. That with the way they were playing prior to the trade deadline and that. And then he went out and grabbed him the biggest fish and a guy that will impact. He hasn't played to the level he's going to play. What a sort of bizarre couple of months he's endured. Like he played for 4 teams in 7 weeks, if you include the Four Nations tournament.
That's a good point.
Like, there was a lot going on for Mikko on the ice, off the ice. And the same time that he's trying to play, he's having personal meetings with management in Colorado. I'm sure, there were conversations like that in Carolina.
Yep.
And then he's got to go out and be the player. So he's going to be fine. He's the least of their worries. Trying to get that line, some chemistry going has been a work in progress. The idea is he's going to play with Roope Hintz, and Hintz took a a puck to the face in that game in Edmonton, missed a couple of games right after, missed half that game. So it's been difficult to get that connection. And Jason Robertson on the other side, and they've mixed and matched it around a little bit, just trying to get it going. But I thought it was just a phenomenal deal, and the heart, the core, the soul of this Dallas Stars team are Finns.
Right?
Miro Heiskanen on defense, who's really their best overall player, their most significant player. Esa Lindell on the blue line, who's the anchor of their defending group, and then you have Hintz up front. Now you have Rantanen. You have Mikael Granlund, who they brought in. I mean, they're 5 deep. We're Team Finland.
So you said something I found really interesting. Like you kind of said maybe they don't always play great, but they win. And I often say that successful teams have that figure it out element. And Todd McClellan, when he was here, used to say, you got 60 minutes to win the game, and sometimes 65, or sometimes a skills competition in the regular season. So that's, to me, I appreciate that about the Stars. And I think I think the Oilers have become more of that. Yeah. I guess you can say they aren't fully that because they didn't win it all last year. But that's I love how you put that. There is that sort of, okay, figure it out. It's going to be 2-1. Figure it out. Yeah, the other team's slashing you and it's not being called. Figure it out.
Yeah, you nailed it. That exactly. They have a bit of a cockroach aspect to them. You can't really kill them. You can chase them into a corner and hit them with a broom and step on them, and then you lift your foot up and they keep going. They've been that way this year. They don't really blow anybody out. I was looking today. Pete DeBoer's first year, they led the league in wins by 3 or more goals. I think they had 30. And they're about mid-pack now. Like it's not the way they go about their business. The closer games, they've had to overcome a little bit of injury adversity. No Tyler Seguin, although he's on the trip and he looks like he's he's not probably, he's going to play games here before the end of the regular season. And just, back-to-back conference finals and understanding that it's 82 games and a meandering schedule, and they've got the worst travel in the league. As much as we, the media that follows them and fans, we'd love them to be, excellent every night, every period. They're just not that way, but they have a bit of a swagger built up from what they've done in the playoffs to where, and they, you always hear that, well, we know we're a good team. And sometimes I think the players or the team itself is trying to talk itself into that we're a really good team, but they're a really good team. And as much as they don't want it to be a switch that they just think they can flick, they're not going to be at their best all the time, but they find ways to win. They might have a bad period, bad 2 periods, but at the end of the night, hey, if we have more goals than them, that's all that really matters.
Daryl Reaugh joining us on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Dallas Stars broadcaster, former Edmonton Oilers goaltender. I was going to throw that in there as well. A couple more for you. One of them is goaltending related. I got to ask, I get a comment about Thomas Harley. And just quickly, Thomas Harley's dad was the U of A's third goalie when I was a student in the early 90s. And last year on the Ched pregame show, I tracked down the dad. He lives in the States, and interviewed him. And he was awesome. And then Thomas Harley plays on Team Canada. And a lot of us were like, wait, isn't that like the 300th choice? I'm exaggerating, but like the 30th choice? And he goes in and he does fine. He's quite a story.
He's an unbelievable story. And, DeBoer has repeated his sort of belief, not just Pete, it was Jim Nill as well, because both were involved with Team Canada. And they were like probably the only guy that could have stepped in and did the job that he did on very last call would have been Thomas, because he's so chill. He's the most relaxed. He's almost like a surfer dude, like he really is. Like he's not all jacked up about anything. He doesn't really get excited about much. and then he gets on the ice and he executes, and he can skate so well. The weird thing with Heiskanen going out of our lineup is that it opened up this window for Thomas Harley to QB the number one power play. And he wasn't getting any power play time. That was always the domain of Heiskanen. And he's been brilliant on it. That's the type of guy he is. Just like, give him the opportunity. He's not going to fall on his face. And I believe that DeBoer felt like, yeah, if he has to be that guy and tap on the shoulder after warm up and, hasn't even skated with the team and then step in against the U.S. and play the way he did, that's who he is. And he's having an incredible run. It was like a growth hormone for him to play in that tournament and to be a part of that, because he's come back. And I mean, he's up to, I think I saw this morning, he's like 14th in the league in defenseman scoring. And most of that has been done here in the latter half of the season. And a great story, we couldn't help but say he's the reverse Brett Hall, because, Holly should have been playing for Canada back in the day, but Canada didn't want him. So he ended up playing for the U.S. And then Harley should have been playing for the U.S., but the U.S. didn't want him. So he played for Canada.
Right. Worked out well. Okay, my last one is a bit of a lighter note. Joaquin Gage, who you probably know, joined me off the top of the show, and he's on our 1 to 3 p.m. show every day as well. So I don't know how we got talking about this, because I meander
always are the
sometimes.
best. You know that, Reid.
Yeah. So I said as a goal, because he said something about guys whizzing pucks by his head, and I said, what was your line in practice for high shots around the head and shoulders? And did he ever get mad at a guy? What about young Daryl Reaugh?
Yeah, I was a hothead in junior, and Rob DeMaio still laughs with me whenever I see him about. He said he was just scared sideways of my stare down in the corner if he shot above my knees, in the early part of practice. I don't think I was that bad, but I would. I was just like, look, I'm a tall guy. You don't need to be up around my head. Now, when I got drafted by the Oilers and I came in and I watched Fierzy, and I was like, well, I can't do that anymore, because he never complained about anything. And those guys would come in and it was top corner city. They would just wire pucks past his head, and Fierzy just shrug it off and continue on. I'm like, apparently that's out the door. They can shoot wherever they want. And they did on me. I never played, so of course I got the high Heartlands all the time. But there were a few fat blade tomahawks that were thrown into the corner in my junior days, just as a reminder.
All right.
Let's keep him down a little bit. Let's keep him down below the shoulders, maybe not below the knees.
Daryl, I've always loved talking to you. It's funny. I tell the guys in Winnipeg it'd be great to have a Winnipeg Edmonton Western Conference final, because it'd be all Canadian. But I'd also would be great to have an Edmonton-Dallas Western Conference final, because I'd get to interview you again. So I win. As long as the Oilers make it, there's people I know around the league. But you're a great guest. You're a great storyteller. And you honestly, you're an honest guy, because you probably could have said, Reid, you owe me $50. And I would have been like, okay, I owe him $50 for the website. But you were honest and be like, no, I figured it out.
Yeah. No, I found the VPN line.
All right, I'll hopefully see you at the good old, nothing like the 8 p.m. games, or I guess 9 p.m. for your audience back home. But
yeah, terrific. Thank you, TNT. Thank you.
Okay, see you, Daryl.
See ya.
I love Daryl Reaugh checking in. Yes, he was an Edmonton Oiler. Saw somebody post in the nasty chat. They remember Daryl playing for the Oilers. And the Edmonton Oilers and the Nova Scotia Oilers. And then they were the Cape Breton Oilers. He was a Hartford Whaler as well. Great guy. Played for the Kamloops Junior Oilers in the dub. Then they became the Kamloops Blues. So I think him and Rob were teammates for a year, right? Him and Rob Brown were teammates. So that's pretty cool. Good to have him on the show, and good perspective on the Dallas Stars. I love that line. He said they're kind of like a cockroach. You can chase them into the corner and hit them with a broom, but they're pretty hard to kill. And I think that's a good summary of the Dallas Stars. And as he said, they kind of used to maybe not blow teams out, but beat teams more convincingly. And now they've become more of a, okay, we can't always do that, but we can figure out and still get the win far more often than not. Got a limerick coming in to read at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. From the Big Uke, a game without the two biggest guns. Nuge is huge. This is one of his best runs. Jay back soon. Over Reid some swoon. The mayor's hubby, a.k.a. the Prince of Puns. That is a good one, tying in some stuff from yesterday and today. What did Gene say his title was? Because Gene Principe's wife, Karen, is now the acting mayor. And I texted Gene and I said, what is your official title? It's the mayor's main squeeze. I was wondering if he was the first gentleman, the mayor consort. He says he is the mayor's main squeeze. Gene's just a big grapefruit. Thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. So hopefully we're back. We had a little bit of an issue with the stream. We're back rolling, so I will still implore you to click the thumbs up. Tell you what, Koob, we'll do a word of the day. We've lost track of the thumbs total. We'll do a word of the day a little bit maybe later on. Maybe we'll have two if we have time, which is always fun. You know what I got to do right now? I got to give another clue. This is only the second clue. The Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game. Just double checking if anybody won it after the first clue. I am doubtful. Nobody did. You must text your guesses to 780-218-9999 River Cree Resort Casino inbox. The second clue is Saints. So the first clue was Stingers. The second clue is Saints. All right, text them in, 780-218-9999. Here comes the Koob with the sports update.
Edmonton hosts Dallas without Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl for the Oilers, with head coach Kris Knoblauch saying that, quote, we're looking at about a week, maybe shorter for Leon, and Connor will be longer than that. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they preview the action live at 7, only on EST. Just 3 other games around the league. The Blackhawks challenge the Devils, the Bruins and Ducks face off, while the Canucks call on Thatcher Demko to backstop Vancouver against the Islanders, and the Scepters and Fleet go at it while the Victoire and Frost drop the puck on a 2-game PWHL slate. In the AJHL, there's 4 games. The Wolverines match up with the Oil Barons, the Eagles and Dragons butt heads, while Calgary and Canmore go head-to-head. NBA action sees Toronto playing Brooklyn, the Clippers and Knicks hitting the court, while Philly battles Washington. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Visit their website at advantagesportmed.ca. The Reid Wilkins Show returns after a brief intermission. I'm Zachary Kubusch with your sports update.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Take your career to the next level with Nate's Construction Leadership and Supervision Program, a perfect tool for professionals looking to advance their role or an organization needing to develop leaders. Learn more about safety supervision, scheduling, cost control, and most importantly, how to lead a team. For more information and to register, visit nate.ca/CLSP to take your career to another level.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. It is indeed an Oilers game day. They will play the Dallas Stars tonight at 8 o'clock. So here's what's going on. This show goes until 6. The stream will pick up again at 7 with Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas, the Oil Stream GCL Diesel pregame show. And then they'll be on after the game as well. I think I'll hop on with them for a bit after the game to break it down as the Oilers and the Stars play for the third and final time this regular season, second time this month at Rogers Place. No McDavid, no Draisaitl, of course. And here's the update.
Leon will be back sooner than Connor, but we're looking at about a week, maybe shorter for Leon, and Connor will be longer than that.
All right. I know I played that clip before, but hear directly from Kris Knoblauch. Mattias Ekholm, he's had to battle this season, no doubt about that. Remember how sick he sounded around the Four Nations face-off? Missed some games with a lower body injury as well, and he didn't practice on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's that time of year, right? You got to nurture it. You got to try to be as close to 100% as you can all the time, and I feel like this is probably the time in the schedule where it allows for some rest, I guess, and we're just trying to do the smart thing to be in the best shape possible come April 18 or whatever it is, the playoff starts. So I feel good. It's just one of those things.
Well, he definitely sounds better. You remember his voice there for, 2 or 3 weeks. He just sounded ill. He plays a lot, has a lot of responsibility on the team. I was talking with Gage earlier. Is he going to practice a lot? He may have a lot of maintenance days between now and the end of the season. Very important part of the team, but it's good that he's looking and sounding a little bit better. Ekholm with these observations on tonight's opponent, the Dallas Stars.
I think their high-power offense is what sticks out to me. I think they got maybe not the most overly physical forward group, but they got a lot of skill out there. And they, if you're not awake, they're gonna make you pay a bunch of time or a bunch of different ways. I'd say they got probably 4 really good lines, but obviously their top 9 is really dangerous and gifted offensively. So we'll have to make sure we're staying on the right side of pucks and making good reads and simple reads in the D zone and trying to limit their chances.
And pretty good special teams as well. Dallas 22.5% on the power play for the season, 13th, but really good for the last couple of months. Edmonton 25.7%. That's 7th in the NHL. PK, Oilers, as you know, below average, 76.7%. That's 20th. How about Dallas on the PK? 84.9%. That is first in the NHL. So a really good team. They can present a lot of problems for the Oilers. And I think this is, I don't want to overstate, this is a team that might play in the playoffs. Let's see how they do. Because I've mentioned this before. The Oilers did have a game in Dallas last April. And I thought, okay, this is a big game. Dallas is good. How good are the Oilers? And Dallas crushed Edmonton 5-0. And I kind of thought, well, that's it. The Oilers won't be able to do much in the postseason. They obviously did fine and beat Dallas. But I do think it's an important game for the Oilers, once again with McDavid and Draisaitl, to play a responsible and simple game and make the right decisions at the right time. Don't get running around. Don't take chances. Don't put yourself in bad spots with turnovers at the blue lines or in the neutral zone. So that's kind of what I'm looking for tonight. Obviously, you know they want the win, but can the Oilers play another steady game without McDavid and Draisaitl? I think they did that against Winnipeg. I know McDavid went out during that game. I think they did that for the most part against Seattle. Kris Knoblauch said after that game he thought they didn't defend as well as the night went on, but overall they did pretty good. Can they do that now against a higher caliber opponent? That's going to be the test. Got a limerick texted in to 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Dudley. On the airwaves was Reid, loud and bright, but without Jason Milne, not quite right. Their sports talk was grand, the best in the land. Now Reid's talking to himself every night. That's pretty good. That's really good. Jay's back tomorrow, everybody. Yeah, it is different without him. No doubt about that. We got a good thing going here. Talking to himself every night. That makes it sound like I go home and talk to myself, Koob. Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
You got to tell yourself positive affirmations in the mirror, right?
I'm good enough. I'm smart enough.
You are worthy.
Doggone it, people like me. You probably don't remember that sketch, eh? That's from the 90s on Saturday Night Live. There was a performer named Al Franken who went on to be a politician. I'm not sure if he's still a politician in the States. Then he had a character named Stuart Smalley. And he would have, I think it was called The Daily Affirmation with Stuart Smalley. And at one point, Michael Jordan was the guest host and then went on this sketch playing Michael Jordan. And that was part of the thing. The joke was that Stuart Smalley was encouraging Michael Jordan to be more confident and to believe in himself. And at the end of the sketch, this is how I remember it anyway, Michael Jordan turned to a mirror and said, "I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me." It was very funny. And then I believe, I think it was with the same character, they had Charles Barkley hosting the show, hosting SNL. And Barkley went on with that, and Stuart Smalley was saying, "Oh, so like you're a pro basketball player?" And Barkley was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Oh, and I see, you've won MVP and you score a bunch of points." And Barkley was like, "Yeah, well, I'm considered one of the best basketball players in the NBA." And Stuart Smalley says, "Oh, so I guess then you've won a lot of championships." That was the punchline there. Because Barkley did not win the NBA championship.
He was a great player. But
great player. What did they call him? The round mound of rebound? I believe that was one of his nicknames.
That'd be a great name.
It was a good game. He's an entertaining guy. All right, 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, home of Tap 25 Restaurant. Entire menu off, 50% off, is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. We don't have a winner yet in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. I'll give the third clue. If I don't give the third clue in the next 5 minutes, Koob, keep waving at me until I give it. A little bit more from Matthias Ekholm. He had this to say about the team's overall defensive play.
I think we're certainly getting there for sure. There's been some ups and downs throughout the year, but I think the last game we may have let in a couple more than we maybe wanted to, but the games prior to that, I thought we played pretty good defense. I think we're giving our goalies a chance to save some pucks and not giving up those high danger chances, and that's always the focus, right? Like you can't get too results based in it either. It's one of those things. Like sometimes the decoy will have a bad night. Some nights the goalie will have a bad night, and it's just a matter of what it is, right? So trying to do the right things out there, make sure that we do the right things in terms of limiting their opportunities and their high danger opportunities is something that I think has been better throughout the year.
Obviously they've had some tough stretches defending. Start of the year, certainly before and after the Four Nations face-off. It has been better lately. As I said, some things they want to clean up from the Seattle game on Saturday. And if you missed the lineup earlier, looks like once again Stetcher is going to play, so Emberson remains a healthy scratch. Matthias Ekholm was also asked about the Oilers' response to not having the big guys, Connor and Leon, in the lineup.
Great. I think there's been every single guy in the lineup has brought that extra couple percent that you need, right, to fill that void. It's a really hard void to fill, probably arguably the hardest in the league. I think on any team you can pick two guys and you get those two out, right? Like that's really hard. But I think there's been guys individually, as you said, that have stepped their game up, and I think as a team too, we're playing to our strength and understanding that when you maybe don't have the firepower you normally have, you're going to have to simplify your game and play a complete team game. And I think that everyone to a man has done a really good job of that.
Yeah, the Oilers haven't panicked with the big guys out of the lineup. I do fear that tonight or tomorrow or maybe Saturday, it will just catch up with them. Like, you still need skill and finish and pizzazz and jump to win games. And I wonder if one of these next three games, they might play well, but they just won't be able to score because they don't have these guys in the lineup. Having said that, I can't fault the effort for the most part and the commitment that the Oilers have shown without Draisaitl and McDavid. We're doing buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. Barry in the Park says former Senator Al Franken, so he was a senator, is now playing a senator on the Netflix show The Residence, a really good, funny White House murder whodunit. I did not know that. So there's a recommendation from Barry in the Park. The Residence with Al Franken, a former senator playing a senator. The Doc posting as well. When I asked you if you remembered that skit, Koob, the Doc says not only does he not remember that skit, he was not even a twinkle in his father's eye yet. Well, because I think that would have been mid-90s when Jordan and Barkley were on. When were you born again? 04?
03.
03? Okay.
Same year the Devils won the Cup.
Fair enough. Chief Andy, thanks, Chief Andy, predicting a 5-2 Dallas victory tonight. Hey, that's fine, Chief Andy. It's just if you're wrong, you have to write in tomorrow and say you were wrong. That's all. Other end of the spectrum says, I have a feeling Skinner could steal one tonight. Rare to get I assume he means Stuart. Rare to get a positive comment about Stuart Skinner in the Nasty Chat, so I appreciate that. Mex Bezozu, people can chime in on this one. Did anyone catch the Podkolzin interview and tour of the Oilers locker room that came out today? It was by a Russian YouTuber. Highly recommend. I have not. Did you see this, Coop? You're more up to date on that stuff.
Well, I don't speak Russian, so I haven't seen it.
So is it in Russian?
I mean, I assume if it's a Russian YouTuber, it would be in Russian.
Okay.
A lot of Russians do speak English, but...
Yeah, I don't know what audience they made it for. I have not seen that, Mex. It was English dubbed, he said.
The subtitles.
And Chief Andy also saying, believe it or not, I was on Netflix for a documentary. Okay, Chief Andy, you can't just say that and then stop talking. You have to give other details. You can't. It's just like walking up to somebody. Oh, hey, I won the lottery once, and then just walk away. Like, how much? How? What was Chief Andy featured on? Was it about tomes and having scotch and a secret stash in a secret room off his kitchen? I don't know. I got to know, Chief Andy. You got to tell me. Like, if he's too shy, he then email me so I know. Come on, Chief Andy. You're killing me. I love Chief Andy. But I do want to know, buddy. Jen Cool says, I remember that skit clearly, LOL. Exactly what he looked like looking in the mirror, saying it to himself. I'm good enough. I believe that's what it was. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people like me. Chief Andy says, LOL, if I say which one, I'll reveal myself. He can't say. He was on a secret documentary. Chief Andy probably like votes on the next pope or something like that. All mysterious. Well, because I watched that movie Conclave where they're voting for the pope. It's a mystery. It's pretty good. Jimmy says, is this the first show Reid has done without Jay? No, I think it's the 7th. 7th or 8th, right? Because he missed one. Yeah, he missed it before Christmas. He missed 3 last week, 3 this week. And was there one other? Yeah, one in February. But Justin Lawrence came in and did one with me. That was fun.
Yeah, did the full show.
I've done a lot of shows myself, by the way. Like, I'm not a complete incompetent goon. Brent says Kapanen has a breakout game for 3 points tonight. Wow, that is a level of optimism that perhaps is unprecedented. That is stunning. A lot of smart guesses for the Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game. None of them correct, though. Though I like how people are thinking, but these aren't correct. So we got to give clue number 3. Clue number 3 is Blazers. So the clues now are Stingers, Saints, and Blazers. Stingers, Saints, Blazers, the 3 clues in the Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game. You have to text your guesses to the River Cree Resort and Casino hotline, 780-218-9999. Maximum 3 guesses per phone number. I think somebody has used up all their guesses already. I wonder if anybody's going to get it now. They might. Stingers, Saints, and Blazers. Here's the 5 o'clock break.
The EST Hangout.
This team does have skill, and I don't mean just Connor and Leon. There is skill throughout this entire lineup. Whether the skill shows up or not, it's a different story. Skinner didn't just fall out of 30 goals one year, and he is a perennial 20 to 30 goal scorer. Same thing with Nuge. Nuge has skill. Now you're leaning upon him. He has to elevate his game.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
UFC 314 goes down at the Canadian Brewhouse on April 12th. Watch every knockout on the most TVs with epic food and drinks in the best atmosphere. Don't miss the action. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
At Mind360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl remain out for the Oilers as they take on the Stars. Join Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they break down the game during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live at 7 right here on EST. 3 other games on tap. Thatcher Demko protects the net for Vancouver as they battle the Islanders. Boston visits Anaheim and the Devils meet the Blackhawks. 2 PWHL games on tap. Toronto and Boston have a date before Montreal battles Minnesota. And in Alberta, Whitecourt and Fort McMurray showdown. The Eagles and Dragons butt heads while the Canucks and Kodiaks go head-to-head on a 4-game AJHL slate. On the court, the Raptors face the Nets. Toronto's Emmanuel Quickley and Jakob Poeltl will sit out for rest. And in just a moment, Washington tips off against Philadelphia before Milwaukee visits Denver on a 6-game NBA slate. I'm Zachary Kubusch. That was your sports update. The third and final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
Hey, folks, Oilers Stars tonight at Rogers Place. What am I doing? I don't have to hustle there today. I got time to go to Warp 2 and get the new comics. I'm excited.
Which new comics?
The new Amazing Spider-Man. I believe it's the finale to the little storyline they've been doing called The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, which has been okay.
Not 9? Not like a cat?
No, it's 8, baby. It's 8.
The 8 legs?
It's not related to the number of legs a spider has. No, it's something else. You know what happened in the Marvel Universe in the comics? Doctor Doom tricked Doctor Strange, and Doom is now the Sorcerer Supreme. So there's a mini-series going on called One World Under Doom, because he kind of takes over the world, or is trying to, as he's prone to do.
That's his whole shtick, right?
That's
Doesn't
his whole
he
shtick.
overtake
To be very well, if you're going to be an evil supervillain, you got to try to take over the world. It's not like, hey, I'm going to take over, North Entwistle.
Doctor Doom's a pretty scary name. One World Under Doom.
Yeah. So anyway, Jodes is predicting an ugly, ugly game tonight. Well, Matthew Iwanek is going to be there. Oh, did I actually say that? That's terrible.
Finishing up a heater.
Oh, you got the soundboard going. That's awesome. By the way, we are in the Canadian Brewhouse studio. Great to have them on board. It's time for a wing throwdown at the Canadian Brewhouse. Fuego Verde versus Honey Blaze. Who's taking the crown? Hit up the Canadian Brewhouse for wing night. Our house is your house. Jay Milne will be back tomorrow. Give us the thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube and participating in the nasty chat. We will do a word of the day. The number we had a 2 different streams today because we had a bit of a technical glitch at 4:00, so the numbers seem a little bit off. So we might just do a double word of the day just for fun. We'll assume we would have got to 155 on a game day. Why not? Jodes says, I am the only ugly one here. Jodes, don't be so hard on yourself. I'm sure you look fine. All right. You guys are fun. You're just fun. We have some very interesting and intelligent and hard-thinking guesses for the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Day. What we don't have is a winner. So the 3 clues are Stingers, Saints, and Blazers. And that could go a lot of different ways, and people are going those ways, which I'm pleased to see, but no one has gone the winning way yet. I guess I can say, no, I won't. I don't need to give a clue. I think it's obvious now that it's not the person or the team that perhaps people are thinking. I think it's pretty apparent that it's not that. So we'll just leave it at that. Oilers against Dallas tonight. This will be a tough test for the Oilers. I've been a little surprised to see Kapanen get elevated. He'll play with Henrique and Hyman. I know he has his speed. He can generate some things that way. But here's my thing. When everybody's healthy, is Kapanen in the Oilers' top 12? I'm not sure that he is. Now, if everybody is healthy is a big if, but if they have... so who's the first person to come out? I guess I said earlier Max Jones. Probably Derek Ryan, since he was in the minors earlier, though maybe they're going to like how he's playing. I mean, in my mind... the quote-unquote 5th line for the Oilers would probably be Derek Ryan, Max Jones, and Kasperi Kapanen once Draisaitl, Frederic, and McDavid are all available. And I know people are saying, Reid, why do you always leave out Evander Kane? Again, because I don't know when Evander Kane is going to be available. We are hoping, and I think assuming, that Trent Frederic will play in the regular season. I mean, here's what Kris Knoblauch said earlier today about Frederic's availability and the injury.
He's been on the ice for a couple times, just on his own, light skates, and we are hopeful that he's going to be with us, maybe start practicing within a week or 2.
And is that what your understanding was of the timeline originally when you got him, or was there any setback there at all? Or?
Well, it was an injury that I don't think there was an exact timeline of when he was going to be coming back. So I think there was best case scenarios and worst case scenarios, and we knew about the worst case scenarios, and I think we're probably approaching that worst case scenario. That's where, but no surprises.
All right. So no surprises. I guess they're basically saying they're dealing with what is becoming the worst case scenario, that Frederic may not play a lot. We may not see him until, I said earlier, maybe the last 3, 4, 5 games of the regular season. So we'll keep an eye on that. But like I'm saying, Kapanen's up higher today, but I would think he's a candidate to be a healthy scratch if the team is ever totally healthy at forward. But anyway, I guess he's being rewarded for using his speed. And as we know, these lines can change very, very quickly. The Stars expected to go with Hintz between Marchment and Rantanen, Duchesne with Robertson and Granlund, Johnston with Ben and Dodonov, Steele with Oscar Back and Colin Blackwell, Harley and Labushkin on the top defensive pairing, Lindell and Cody Ceci, and then Bichel with Matt Dumba, Ottinger, the starting goaltender tonight. Yeah, Thomas Harley filled in on the Canadian Four Nations face-off team quite admirably, and his dad, Brian, was the U of A's third goaltender when I was a student and going to games in the early 1990s. So that is a fun tidbit there. We got to do we have it ready, Koob? Our game of the night for Play More Tables and Games?
Play more tables and games.
I just love that so much. I know how it's going to sound, and I'm still always surprised at how much joy it brings me. From ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for, visit Canada's Game Room Experts locations in Edmonton and Calgary, or online at playmoregames.ca. All right, the obvious one is Edmonton and Dallas, but let's look here a little bit at the National Hockey League and the playoff race situation. So we got the Canucks and Islanders tonight. The Islanders are a point behind Montreal for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. They have both played 70 games. Vancouver is now 5 points behind the red-hot St. Louis Blues for the final playoff spot in the West. Vancouver does have 2 games in hand, but it's looking pretty bleak for the Canucks. The Devils play the Blackhawks. The Devils are going to make the playoffs. Chicago won't. That's specifically not a game of the night. And the Bruins play the Ducks. Neither of those teams are going to make the playoffs. So I guess we'll have a double game of the night with Canucks, Islanders, Devils, Blackhawks. The St. Louis Blues, and people love talking about the St. Louis Blues, don't they? Are amazing. Like, what a big boost, I guess, for Binnington to win the Four Nations face-off. Not only are and I didn't think this would happen. I really thought, now we'll see, because games in hand are a thing, but the points percentage still favors the Blues. The Blues are 4 points ahead of Calgary. Calgary's the best non-playoff team. Calgary does have 3 games in hand, but they're putting Calgary in a situation here where they got to win all those games in hand. So the Blues are probably thinking, like, forget about just making the playoffs. Who are we going to catch? The Blues are just 2 points behind Minnesota. Minnesota's the number 1 wildcard team. The Blues are the second one. So the Blues have almost caught up to Minnesota. Now, I don't think the Blues are going to catch up to Colorado and get third in the Central Division, because that's an 8-point gap, and St. Louis only has 9 games remaining. But now, with the way the Blues are playing, that becomes a much tougher out for whoever they face in the first round, which is very likely going to be Winnipeg or Vegas. I mean, can you imagine Koob, Blues and Jets in the first round? Hellebuck against Binnington again? Like in the Four Nations face-off final?
It would be entertaining, and Hellebuck hasn't really, shown up in the playoffs, and he lost in the Four Nations.
And that's the thing for the Jets.
Right?
And I said, because I asked Jay a couple weeks ago, or last week maybe it was, which Canadian team would have the most pressure if in the first round? Okay, here's the thing. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. Ottawa and Montreal, if they both get in, and certainly Ottawa will, and Montreal has a slight inside track right now, would you say they're both playing with house money? Like if Ottawa and Montreal go into the playoffs and get decimated,
they're happy.
Like
yeah,
get swept and get outscored 17-3. It's going to be disappointing for those players and for the fans, but they made the playoffs. Like I didn't think Montreal especially was going anywhere near the playoffs. Okay?
Neither did I.
So they might not get in. But is there pressure on those teams in terms of expectations, and it's tense if you fall behind in the series, or it's devastating if you lose a game that you should have won, or whatever? Like, to me, it's not. To me,
they probably have the least amount of pressure.
To me, it's like the fan bases will be joyed. We're back in. We got playoff experience. We're building around, Brady Tkachuk or whoever in Ottawa, or Lane Hudson or whoever in Montreal. Like, it's bonus time. Okay? So if Calgary gets in, which is getting slimmer, but I think Calgary's in that boat as well, because they were picked to be very, very bad, right? They were picked at the start of the season, won't be able to score, won't be able to keep the puck out of their own net. Now, they can't score. We've talked about that. They don't score a lot. Are they ahead of the Sharks now? Yeah, they're ahead of the Sharks in goals for. That's it. They do not score. But the goal prevention, they've got good. Wolf's been a great story. So if Calgary gets in, and if they face the Jets and get destroyed, it's not going to be moaning and it'll be disappointing, but it's not going to be moaning and groaning from the fan base. It's going to me, if you're following the Flames, it's like, we got in a year we weren't supposed to get in. We lost to the number 1 seed, and we got a goalie that might win Rookie of the Year. Good. Got the experience. So I don't think there's any pressure in Calgary. So, Edmonton. Now, look, we deal with Oilers fans every day. There's certainly pressure. They got McDavid and Draisaitl. They're about halfway through their careers. I get it, but I look at it as if they fall behind in a series, are people freaking out that it's a tragedy? If the Oilers lose the first game of the first round, guess what? They almost always lose game 1 of the playoff series. It's not going to be, oh my goodness. I think it'll more be like, okay, that sucks. Let's see what they do. They've been through this. The Leafs, I would even say to the same extent. Okay? Now, and was it you or Jay that brought this up last week when we talked about what if the Leafs face Ottawa in the first round? That might tighten the noose a little bit. If the Leafs face Ottawa in the first round and lose the first game, or are down 2-1. This is why I say it's the Jets. And this is more like how the fan base is going to react, all this kind of stuff. If the Jets, after the last 2 playoff series, lose game 1 on home ice to the St. Louis Blues or the Calgary Flames, I think that is then the fan base that has the highest level of consternation, so to speak. Right? That's the fan base. If you're down 1-0 or 2-1 in the first round, given where the Jets finish in the regular season, and you're going to face a team that's 8th, right? And St. Louis might be a hell of a hot 8th place team to face. What does that do to the Jets, given the history of the previous 2 years? Now, look, I know I'm talking to very passionate and astute Oilers fans, but the Oilers have done well. Like, they've won a playoff round 3 years in a row. Like, this is not a team that's just crumbled in the first round, right? Like Jode says, well, what if the Oilers lose to LA in 5? Yes, very disappointing, but let's face it here, Jodes. The Oilers could be underdogs in that series. So I'm not saying the fan base wouldn't be disappointed. I'm not saying there isn't pressure. I'm saying the most pressure is on the Jets. That's my belief. You don't have to agree with me, but I've explained why I think that way.
And rightfully so. Yeah, they've been the best team in the league the entire season. People thought that they would kind of maybe fall off, come down to earth a little bit. They're kind of like, I want to say the Vancouver of last year, but they are a more skilled team, more put together team. They have arguably the best third line in the league, best goaltender by far in the NHL right now. So if Connor Hellebuyck and the rest of the Jets team can't find that extra gear to push in the playoffs, it would be really, really bad. So they need to perform. Like, they have to be guaranteed almost to go to the second round, which they're not. No team is ever guaranteed to go past in any round. But for any of the Canadian teams, it would be the most devastating.
D-Rock pointing out back in 2019, the Blues and Jets did play each other. Yes, fair enough. 4-2 series win for the St. Louis Blues that year. So there is some history there, but I guess I'm thinking a little more recently. All right. 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. I'm just checking it. I don't see a winner. Doc, good guess. I'm sorry, not correct. Big Dave says supervillains need goals too. First North Entwistle, then the world. Good point. That's a fair point. Maybe you start with North Entwistle. Then you expand maybe to include Evansburg and Wildwood. Then you go for the world.
Baby steps.
Chip Lake. You got to get Chip Lake in there at some point. Fourth clue, Hudson's Canada's pub mystery athlete of the game. Got to text it in. Maple Leafs is the fourth clue. Stingers, Saints, Blazers, Maple Leafs. I think someone's going to get it now. We're going to catch up with Manny Viveiros, former Oilers assistant, now with the Vancouver Giants. Coming up.
It's Oilers Stars tonight. No Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl for the Oilers, with head coach Kris Knoblauch saying that Leon Draisaitl will be back before McDavid, saying, quote, "We're looking at about a week, maybe shorter for Leon, a bit longer for Connor." Join Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they tee up the game on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, which goes live at 7 right here on EST. And on Long Island, Thatcher Demko is a confirmed starter for the Canucks as they meet the Islanders. 2 other games around the NHL has Chicago hosting New Jersey while the Ducks play the Bruins. Two PWHL games on tap. Toronto and Boston have a date before Montreal battles Minnesota. In Alberta, Whitecourt and Fort McMurray showdown. The Eagles and Dragons butt heads while the Canucks and Kodiaks go head-to-head on a 4-game AJHL slate. Basketball sees 6 games, one of which is live right now. The Wizards are up 19-9 over the 76ers halfway through the first quarter. After that, the Raps and Nets tip-offs. Jakob Poeltl and Emmanuel Quickley join Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick on the bench to rest for Toronto. After that, Phoenix faces Boston. The Clippers have the Knicks while the Lakers and Pacers hit the court. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc. Locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding area since '93. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, they got plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. We have a quick intermission before the Reid Wilkins Show rolls on. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Craig, do you think this time off will affect Leon Draisaitl in the Hart chase?
No. I don't think there's a big group of players in the Hart Trophy contest this year. I don't think it's that close, to be quite honest with you. I think Leon's been more valuable to his team, and Quinn has been more valuable to his team than anybody else.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Missing the course? The Canadian Ice House is here to keep your skills sharp. TrackMan golf simulators are open. Real golf action right in downtown Edmonton. Don't let the off-season slow you down. Visit us in-store or check out thecanadianicehouse.com for all the details.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
Someday you'll be shedding your tears.
A one-of-a-kind retrospective. It's Glass Tiger, This Island Earth, April 4th at River Cree Resort and Casino.
Don't forget me when I'm gone.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon, getting you ready for the Oilers and the Stars 8 o'clock game at Rogers Place, and then the Oilers in Seattle tomorrow, back home to play Calgary on Saturday. Don't expect Connor McDavid to play in any of those games. We'll see about Leon Draisaitl. He's not in tonight, so I doubt he would be in tomorrow. Maybe we see him Saturday against Calgary. He did take the morning skate today. We're going to give it to, looks like Mex got it in just ahead of Rob. So Mex has done well for our mystery player athlete of the game for Hudson's Canada's Pub. Koob, you can get in touch there. Mike Palmatier, remember him? Mike Palmatier is the mystery athlete of the game. So he was drafted by the Cincinnati Stingers in the WHA, never played for them. That's why the first clue was Stingers. Saints was the second clue. He had a brief AHL stint late in his career with the St. Catharines Saints. Blazers was another clue. He had a couple seasons in the CHL in the mid-'70s with the Oklahoma City Blazers. And then Maple Leafs, an easier clue that gave it away for people. Capitals would have been the fifth clue because the Maple Leafs and Capitals were his two NHL teams. So Mike Palmatier is the Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game. All right, Western Hockey League playoffs getting ready to go. The Oil Kings are going to play PA starting on Friday. A lot of Edmonton connections to talk about in the Western Hockey League playoffs, and I am pleased to welcome to this show for the first time, though he's been on shows I've hosted several times in the past. He's the coach of the Vancouver Giants. He's an Edmonton native. It is Manny Viveiros checking in. Manny, it's Reid. How are you doing?
Reid, I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I was very flattered that you remembered me because I sent a text to your media relations person and you texted me back yourself. I'm like, he hasn't forgotten little old Wilkie.
Well, I probably had 5 different phone numbers since then, so at least we got a hold of it, which is good.
Yeah, I think at one, I definitely did not have your current number in my phone. I may have had the Henderson one at some point, but that might be as far back as it goes. Hey, thanks for taking the time to hop on. I mean, the WHL playoffs are so exciting. They can be a little bit unpredictable. If you can, kind of run us through the Giants season, because I was kind of looking at your stats here, like nobody with eye-popping stats, but man, you got a ton of players like over 50 points. Who provided the offense this year?
Well, I think we're more of a committee of a scoring by committee. Our group, we do have a couple guys that are pretty dynamic around the net. One with Cameron Schmidt, who's hopefully going to be a high draft pick in this year's NHL draft. But we're more of a team where, compared to a team like Spokane, who we're going to play in the first round, they have 3 guys that are pretty dynamic that have put up well over 100 points. And our group's a little bit different. We're certainly a really young team. We're the youngest team in the history the Giants have ever had. And but some of these younger players have really stepped up this year, even in the second year in the Western League, and have really developed and shown the progress that we're pretty pleased with.
All right. Now, I believe, are you guys starting at home, even though you technically don't have home ice advantage? What's going on?
You know what, Reid? That is actually a little bit of luck on our part. In Spokane, they have March Madness right now, and I believe they have the women's basketball tournament in the building for that weekend. So they moved the first 2 games to Vancouver here for us. So we get we get home ice, the home gate, obviously, and home ice advantage in the last change, which is going to be really important against a really good team in Spokane. So a little bit of luck on our side, but Spokane obviously did finish ahead of us in the standings.
Look, Manny, you've been coaching for a while. You've been a very successful coach. WHL, Europe, you were on the Oilers staff, which I might get a memory too of here as we move along. How have, and maybe you'll say, Reid, people ask me that, but that's a dumb question. You can, if that's the answer, please say it. But how have kids changed? Like even from when you were coaching in the Dub with Swift almost a decade ago, like that 17 to 19 age range. Are they different? I mean, some of these kids might have been out of school for a year or two with the pandemic, and maybe that affects how they relate with people and all that kind of stuff. What's it like in that age range right now?
Well, I certainly think, like anything, you're looking for progress, and there is going to be change with time. There's no question about it. And I can certainly see a difference from the time that I was in Swift Current to the way the kids are today, but not in a negative way by any means. But it's just just normal progression of how things change in the world and everything else. And definitely, though, there's something to that, though, Reid, as far as that pandemic. When everybody was locked up in their homes for close to a year and that, and it did affect a lot of especially the young kids, and who are so used to socializing and being around, going to school and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, you're spending all your time at home, and it has, in some ways, affected some people. But these kids nowadays, they're so much smarter and brighter. As they get going, they know exactly what they want as far as where they want to be in 2 to 3 years, whether it's through hockey or scholastically in all areas like that. And it's actually quite impressive, just how mature these young players are. And when we're asking like a 16 or 17 or 18-year-old, and basically they're still kids, but they're really focused and have a goal set in mind.
Manny Viveiros, coach of the Vancouver Giants, joining us today on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. Jane will be back from holidays tomorrow. So I want to throw you this question, and I don't know if I would ask every WHL coach about this, but I'm going to ask you because of your ties to Edmonton and your experience. Things are changing with the NCAA. What do you foresee a drastic change in maybe the players that might commit to the WHL? And there's going to be 2 new teams added in British Columbia. Have you thought about the impact of now players can come to the Dub and still go to the NCAA later if they want?
Great question, Reid. And actually, everybody's kind of learning on the go as this continues to progress. But you can see right away, some of the players, at the end of their 20-year-old, even the 19-year-old year in the Western Hockey League, if they don't turn pro, the only option was U Sports in Canada, which is a great league in itself. But now these kids are having an opportunity to, get full rides to some of the U.S. colleges. I know we have a number of kids in our team have already committed to next year to U.S. colleges, and then also some of the players who are not 20 yet have got offers to go to some of the U.S. colleges. So we're trying to still figure everything out as far as how it goes. But I think it's just absolutely wonderful for the players. They got an opportunity to have more choices after their junior career, and on top of that, they have more choices of where they want to go scholastically in whether in the States or in U Sports in Canada. So I think it's going to be really good. And I think now you're going to get some of the higher end players or younger players that were committed early to go to college. They're going to come play in the Western Hockey League because it is a better league, and it plays a really good competition where they're going to have an opportunity to play and develop. And then when they reach that age, and if they don't go to pro, they can still go to college after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how that's going to play out. I know there's a lot of speculation here too, with, like you mentioned, U Sports, what's going to happen with the Bears and recruiting and all that kind of stuff. So I think a lot is still going to be told here. Yeah, it's interesting, like following your career too through the Dub. Like Swift is not a big place. Spokane's a little bigger. Vancouver's quite big. Does that now Edmonton draws really well. How are the Giants drawing? Does it depend how the team is doing? And what kind of community work do you and the players get to do? Do you got to get out there and promote the team that way too?
Yeah, they do a wonderful. Ron Toigo is a majority owner for the Vancouver Giants, and he does an outstanding job with the people in place they have here of getting out in the community. Our kids are always in the community doing something, whether it's school or some sort of charity event here. So we actually play out of Langley, which is about 35 minutes from downtown or 40 minutes from downtown Vancouver, and we have a practice facility which is in Ladner, which is about 20 or 25 minutes away from our main rink we play our games. And the fan support has been outstanding. It's been really good. We over this since Christmas time, we're almost full every single night here. So they do a great job as far as integrating the kids into the community, and we have great fan support who really there's a strong giant following in the Langley, not just Langley, Ladner, Delta, all those areas.
Okay. I got to throw you one or two about your tenure with the Oilers. I know it was only a year, and it turned out to be a bit of a tough year back in 1890. But, I mean, you got to be – I'm going to ask a Leon-centric question because he's going to score 50 whenever he comes back. He still might win the Hart even with missing a few games, which he did a couple years after you coached him. But your kind of perspective, having seen him younger – and just see him continue to be such an assertive and dominant player?
Well, with Leon and also Connor, both those guys were very young at that age there. And just what impressed me more than anything is how they handle themselves as a young player in such a hockey market. And Reid, this better than anybody. At times in Edmonton, it can be a little bit trying as an athlete with press or the fans, and that's the way you want it as far as it being in the hockey market, and the expectations are high. But I was really impressed how they handle that stress of playing in such a hockey market, and you could see. The skill level is off the charts. So, but what more impressed me even more than that is their work ethic and practice. I've never seen a guy like Connor or a guy like Leon when they're doing a drill, they're doing it for a purpose and not going through the motions. And you can see there's a reason why these guys are some of the best in the world, or if not the best in the world of what they do. And it's quite impressive. And I always use that analogy with our players. I says I had the pleasure to watch two of the best in the world, and one of the best, the biggest things they do is how they practice every single day. And they're exceptional talents, but you only get better and better with the type of work they put into it. And for me, it was so a real treat to have an opportunity to be around those guys every single day. Other than that, the other team, the rest of the guys or the team. Obviously didn't do as well at that time like that, but it was an incredible experience, and it really meant a lot to me because it's my hometown.
Well, speaking of players who get talked about a lot, Stu Skinner's talked about a lot, but like you, because I believe you acquired Stu and Swift and you won the dub, right? So I know you can't speak for him now, but you saw him traded and joining you with a lot of high expectations about 7 years ago.
Well, you know what? I see a lot of similarities, and again, this is always looking from afar. But I had Stu, obviously in Swift Current, and we traded from. And, he was for us one of the major reasons why we won the championship. And it was such a long. I think we played 26 games that year just to get out of the Western Hockey League. And for me, Stuart is a big game player. When things were on the line, when you needed him the most, he was exceptional. And I saw that on the other side also too when I was in Henderson, when he was in Bakersfield, and we played those guys 8 times a year. Then after we had a mini playoff against them during the pandemic year, when things were on the line and he needed to be his best, he was exceptional. And for me, I see a lot of those similarities. With him in Edmonton, if you look over the big games where he needs to be at his best, he usually is. And you just don't get to the Stanley Cup Finals on by chance. There's a reason for it too. And there's a kid that's an incredible young man, and I can't help but root for him too. But there's something there special with this young man, and I think he's going to be a really good goaltender for that organization for a long time.
Manny, love catching up with you. I hope that you don't feel like it's a mistake giving me your current phone number, because we'll get you on the show again. It's been too long since we've talked. I've been following your journey kind of without talking to you for the last few years. So thanks for checking in. Just in the spirit of full disclosure, I think Brad Lauer's coming on my show tomorrow. So we'll have both sides. I get along with both you guys, so I'm not playing favorites. You're both coming on the show, and you can get this scouting report on each other's teams. But all the best in this round. I know you work so hard and you love coaching, so thanks so much for popping on the show.
Reid, thanks very much. Always a pleasure.
That is Manny Viveiros. I guess I called him an Edmonton native. Technically St. Albert. All the St. Albert people are probably mad at me that I said that. But with the Vancouver Giants, and because of NCAA women's basketball in Spokane, Vancouver will actually start that series at home, even though they're the number 6 seed, and Spokane is the number 3. And Brad Lauer, former Oil Kings coach, now coach in Spokane, is scheduled to be on with us in about 24 hours from now. So that'll be fun to catch up with Brad and get the other's perspective from this series. All right, 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant. All you can eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday from 4 to 10 p.m. Oilers and Stars, 8 o'clock tonight at Rogers Place. I'll be heading to that game. I think Iwanik's coming as well. Tom Gazzola. Tom will be on at 7 with the pregame show. He and Hernan, and then they'll jump on after the game as well to break it down on the postgame show. Mike Palmatier was the mystery athlete of the game. In case you missed that, Mex is the winner there. Did you get in touch with Mex? Koob?
About to.
You will? Okay, sorry, buddy. I'm pressuring the Koob. We're going to do a double word of the day. Our thumbs, we have divided thumbs today because we had a bit of a stream switch partway through the show. Fortunately, a bit of a technical glitch that we ironed out, but thanks for sticking with us. It's the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl remain out for the Oilers as they take on the Stars. Join Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they break down the game on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live at 7 right here on EST. 3 other games on tap, 2 of which are just about to get underway. The Devils and Blackhawks showdown before Thatcher Demko and the Canucks take on the Islanders on a 4-game NHL slate. In the NBA right now, the Wizards are up 47-37 on the 76ers. 9:30 left in the second quarter. And Toronto also takes on the Nets. Emmanuel Quickley and Jakob Poeltl of the Raptors will sit out for rest. After that, the Lakers tip off against the Pacers before the Knicks throw down with the Clippers having 6 games around the association. Back in Alberta, Whitecourt and Fort McMurray showdown. The Eagles and Dragons butt heads while the Canucks and Kodiaks go head-to-head on a 4-game AJHL slate. The final segment of the Reid Wilkins Show brings us back after these messages. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Oh my goodness, hope you're having a great afternoon. Oilers Stars tonight at Rogers Place. Oilers Kraken tomorrow. What do they call it? Climate Pledge Arena?
The Climate Pledge Arena.
Did you go when you were there?
I did. I went twice, actually. They had greenery everywhere. It was a fantastic experience.
What games did you see?
I saw just the one game. It was the Kraken against the Wild, and then I had the chance to see a concert.
Oh, right. You went to some like rap metal concert. The Blizzard Gang or something like that.
Yeah, Tyler the Creator. And
yes, that's what I meant.
A group called Paris, Texas as well.
Tyler the Creator? Is that his name?
Yeah, it was Tyler. Opener was Paris, Texas. Okay. And then it went to Lil Yachty. And then Tyler the Creator.
It was a triple bill.
Triple bill. Yes. 3-for-1 deal, I guess.
How did you find the two scoreboards for the hockey game?
It's a little interesting. Like the view that I had, I kind of was up in the corner a little bit. They kind of shadow off the corners, I guess. They have walls on each side. It's very visible for everybody. And it didn't take away any of the viewership quality of the actual game itself. It was neat to see. It was a change up. I didn't hate it.
So that's the building, because I saw, when was it? Oh my God, it was a while ago. Was it 2000 and... I want to say 2006. No, maybe it was... No, I think it was 2004. Yeah, it was 2004. I had a weekend, a buddy and I went to Seattle, and on Saturday we saw a WHL game, and then Sunday afternoon we saw a Seahawks game, and Sunday night we saw the Supersonics play the Pacers. And it was called Key Arena, but they kept the roof, right? Like the roof was named some sort of historic preservation item. So for Climate Pledge, they lifted up the roof and built everything underneath and lowered the roof back down. I'm oversimplifying it, but that's basically what happened.
That's what happened?
Because it's in the same spot, right? It's right by the Space Needle. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to deconstruct it, and they built, like you said, way more into the ground. Like the thing is basically in. But I believe it's.
I mean, they probably refurbished the roof, but it's for some reason I can't remember what it was, but they named the roof was deemed a historic. I don't know what the word is, something to be preserved. So they couldn't just tear down Key Arena. It's like, we got to keep the roof.
Because it meant so much to the city.
I guess, yeah. At least they're able to Seattle's a big roof town.
Well, yeah, and they also had an old, it was called Memorial Field from 1949. Like before, I don't know what kind of teams practice in it, but now high schoolers practice in it. It's a very old football style arena. Seating on the sides.
And
like
you went to this place?
Stuff like that. Yeah, it's just right near Climate Pledge as well in that Seattle downtown district.
Did you go watch something there?
A couple high schoolers like practicing and stuff. Like I just
you just were wandering around. There wasn't an event there. Okay, all right.
No, pretty cool.
Yeah, well, 1949 wouldn't be that old. I mean, we got high schools here that old. We got people here.
It definitely looked old. Well, it was all mossy and stuff like that. It had character to it for sure.
It was overgrown.
It was.
Oilers Dallas Stars. Here's Matthias Ekholm on tonight's opponent.
I think their high-power offense is what sticks out to me. I think they got maybe not the most overly physical forward group, but they got a lot of skill out there. And they, if you're not awake, they're gonna make you pay a bunch of time or a bunch of different ways. I'd say they got probably four really good lines, but obviously their top 9 is really dangerous and gifted offensively. So we'll have to make sure we're staying on the right side of pucks and making good reads and simple reads in the D zone and trying to limit their chances.
Jimbo in the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Keep clicking the thumbs up. Jimbo says, yesterday I learned that John Tesh used to perform the NBA on NBC theme at concerts and that it's titled Round Ball Rock. I did know that, Jimbo. I don't know if I could have called it up, but Jimbo, thank you for the random post in the Nasty Chat. John Tesh, what did he host? Was it Good Morning America? Something like that. and he was also a musician. He composed the theme song for the NBA on NBC. I knew it was called Round Ball Rock. I didn't know that he would perform it at concerts, though. Jimbo, I'm glad you feel richer for knowing that. That's pretty cool. We are in the Canadian Brewhouse studio. Great to have them on board as our studio sponsor. UFC 314 is going down at the Canadian Brewhouse. The Koob is excited. You going to go?
I wish I could go to
Where
Florida.
is it again? I know you told me this the other day.
It's in
I will not
Florida.
remember.
I don't know.
In where? Florida?
It is in Florida, yes.
Is going down at the Canadian Brewhouse, UFC 314, April 12th. Catch the action on the most TVs with epic food and drinks. Don't miss it. Our house is your house.
Very welcoming, the Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house?
They make
Do
those
we have to
big
take off our
steaks.
shoes?
You can leave your shoes on.
Okay.
What a question. You have to take off your shoes. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
Oh boy, we got a doozy. Hey, double word of the day?
Double word of the day. We're doing it anyway. Our thumb count went askew. Yes, Matt Hyman, someone won Mystery Athlete. It was Mike Palmetier. John Tesh hosted Entertainment Tonight. So was it him and Mary Hart? I'm thought that sure. D-Rock and VR Montenegro put that in there. I thought he hosted a morning show. So I was wrong.
Also, and he was a host of Intelligence for Your Life radio show.
I don't know what that
he
is.
Did a lot of things.
But he did not make my life any more intelligence. Mike Palmetier was the mystery athlete, Matt Hyman. So we're going to do a double word of the day. The thumbs count, we don't know. We'll assume we would have got to 155 because we were almost at 100 in an hour, right? And even this show, so the stream got split into two shows. Whatever, it happens. People went in there and gave their thumbs. They click, click, click. So we're going to do a double word of the day. And plus, Jay's back tomorrow, so we got to do it.
Right? C'est la vie. C'est la vie.
Yes, let's exercise our Joey de Vivre.
The first
you know what, Koob? You have that certain, I don't know what.
I don't know what.
Je ne sais quoi. That's the joke.
Hmm.
You don't.
Pourquoi?
Did that totally go over your head? Okay, so you say to somebody, like if they just have this quality, but it's hard to define. You say they have that je ne sais quoi, right? So the joke is to say it in English because in French it sounds better and has more of the actual meaning to it. Whereas in English it sounds silly to say, Koob has that certain I don't know what, but it's meant to be in French. They have that je ne sais quoi.
Mm. It is a very.
Have I totally confused you and ruined your day?
Yeah, I haven't ruined my day. You gave me a bit of intelligence. All
right.
You had me a little bit more.
I had you at hello.
Had me at hello. Mm.
That movie came out before you were born too.
I watched the film yesterday that was out before I was born.
What'd you watch?
Groundhog Day.
Oh, with Bill Murray.
Great movie.
And I don't even know who else was in that.
I'm not sure, but a very, very famous actress. Anyways, you know,
Koob's
the first
keeping
word.
the show on the rails. Here we go. Word of the day.
Joaquin and Hernan might be Twitter-pated with film. Twitter-pated is the first
Twitter-pated is the word?
Twitter-pated.
Twitter-pated. Is it capitalized?
It is not capitalized. It isn't a proper noun.
Well, I'm going to just go with what it sounds like. Twitter-pated. Twitterpated. Twitter-pated.
That is correct.
And I guess I will say the meaning is it to be enamored or excited with something?
Very, very close. But I'm going to have to say no.
Not even partial points?
I'll give you a half point there.
Okay.
I'll give you a half point. I won't give you the boo you suck.
I'm just groveling for points at this point, everybody.
Well, the definition of Twitter-pated is infatuated or obsessed.
Oh.
So just adjacent, just like a first cousin removed.
Sexy 5 Sensey knew that in the nasty chat. To become infatuated? Is that close?
Yeah, to become infatuated or obsessed.
So it's even
Or it is the
beyond.
character.
So it's because I said enamored, but infatuation or obsession is
It's
a
just a
step up.
step. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I could get half a point, maybe.
The next word is magniloquence.
Mike, are you just trying to torture me? Like, what's next? You're going to put cockroaches in my shoes?
Maybe not. They might come home with you.
Say the word again.
Magniloquence. Magniloquence.
Magniloquence. So again, I'll just go with my gut instinct. I won't use analytics. Magniloquence. Magniloquence.
Wow.
Well, it's exactly how it sounds, baby.
It is exactly how it sounds. What is the first thing they say? Sound it out when you
sound
learn
it
to
out
spell?
and spell it. So I've spelled both words correctly today. Yeah. Magniloquence. So I believe the suffix quence usually means to be proficient or prolific at something. Magnil. Would this be someone who is capable of using fancy language?
Whew.
I got it!
I won't even give you partial points for that. It's the use of high-flown language.
Wow, I got it!
Nice!
Well, because I thought eloquence and then magni, like mag usually means a lot of, or like sort of like maximum, or I don't know. I've actually stunned myself. That was almost unbelievable.
It's like saying je ne sais quoi, no?
Because I was thinking of, now I got to check something here.
That was really good.
Right, because magnanimous means you kind of have a lot of courage and generosity, right? So I thought this is somebody who has a lot of something. And then I thought eloquent, so I thought you use a lot of, what's the exact definition again?
Use of high-flown language.
High-flown language. So I was pretty close.
It's basically
I was
the
like
same
90% there for coming up on the fly. Well, now my spirits are buoyed.
Buoyed?
Yes. I feel buoyant.
They've risen?
That my spirits have risen. I am aloft. I am aloft with joy. I can go to Rogers Place tonight feeling good about myself. It's pretty good.
I'm glad. That is awesome. And Oilers fans are Twitter-pated with the idea of the game tonight.
D-Rock says, I could see Reid being that spelling bee kid in elementary school. Yeah, we didn't have that, but I don't know. I like spelling and language. I've talked about that. So I really like figuring this out. So usually I don't do that well. And now I feel super nerdy that I'm actually so excited that I spelled them both right and figured out a definition by kind of breaking the word down.
That's what you got to do, baby.
Let that be an inspiration to all of you, everybody. And let that be an inspiration to the Oilers tonight. Break the game down into its simple pieces, and they'll figure it out against the Dallas Stars. Sound good? So the Oil Stream pregame shows at 7. Well, Nielsen show tomorrow at 6. Reid Wilkins show at 3 tomorrow with Jay Milne. He will be back, so I won't be talking to myself, as a couple people pointed out, though the Koob was a big part of the show. Thanks, Koob. I'm Reid. See ya.